Good morning again, and welcome to the ECHO opening event. No. You're going to do me dirty like that.
You gotta get a little closer.
Closer? I'm practically eating this. All right, try this again. Good morning, and welcome to the opening event for ECHO Village. Thank you so much for being here today. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Laura Jaworski, and I have the honor and privilege of serving as the Executive Director for House of Hope CDC. I'd like to first begin by thanking some key partners who are here joining us today. Governor Dan McKee, Speaker Joe Shikarchi, Chairman Jake Basilian, Acting Housing Secretary Deborah Goddard, Mayor Brett Smiley, Providence City Council President Rachel Miller, Amy King, CEO of Pallet, John Cellini. And I know we have various members of the Providence City Council and of the General Assembly here today, so I want to thank you all for being present as well. Special thanks also to Chairman Basilian, Representative Pye, and Providence City Councilors Justin Royas and Althea Graves for welcoming us to the Smith Hill neighborhood. Thank you also to our federal delegation for their support of this project. Though none of them are able to be here today, I want to thank their staff representatives that are. Their federal support has been a critical factor in this project's success. Lastly, I also want to recognize some of our nonprofit and philanthropic partners, the Rhode Island Foundation and the United Way, who are also here today and have been critical to this project's success as well. And lastly, to our sponsors for our generous support, again, for making this project possible and seeing our vision through the end over the last 4 years. Lastly, thank you to the extraordinary rendition band. For those of you that were late, you really missed out. You were warned to come early and come on time. And while this is a really bittersweet day, it's really a strange place to be to want to mark the celebration of an opening of a shelter. We felt it was really important because there's been a lot of hard work that has gone into this project to get here to where we are today. I quite honestly never believed that we would make it, and I'm so proud of the work that we've done, and music felt like the right way to set the tone, to get some really good vibes here. And also music is a disruptor in our society, and it brings us together, particularly around issues of social justice. And so it felt more than appropriate to have the extraordinary rendition band come in and welcome us as we enter into our first opening day tomorrow. Thank you. So ECHO Village represents our I don't have my loud mom voice today, so I need you. ECHO Village represents our belief that housing is a basic human right. Throughout the challenges that we've faced, we've never stopped believing in this project's potential to provide dignity and safety for those experiencing homelessness. The COVID-19 pandemic in 2020 worsened housing insecurity, and coupled with the opioid epidemic, homelessness erupted here in our state. While we all agree that housing is the answer, we needed alternative shelter options, which is how we learned about the company Pallet. ECHO, which is an acronym for Emergency COVID Housing Opportunities, was born from the lived experiences of those facing homelessness. Our purpose here is very simple: provide safety, support, and dignity. By November of 2020, we had identified our first potential site for ECHO, but after 6 attempts across the state, we finally found our home here on Victor Street, thanks to the efforts of the state, and yet again the City of Providence understanding that innovation is possible for its most vulnerable residents. So thank you. And while being the first project of its kind in the state came with its own challenges, we remain committed to learning and improving every step of the way. This truly became our organization's challenged accepted moment. What is our responsibility? What role can we play in designing a shelter that is more responsive to the needs of the most vulnerable among us, and those who we were face to face with each and every day. Since we began this journey in 2020, the number of people experiencing homelessness in Rhode Island has doubled. And now, as we prepare to open, we must remember why we're here. The nearly 600 people in our state who sleep in freezing temperatures and sadly sometimes don't wake up with nowhere to call home. We do this in their honor and in their memory. And for all of those focused on the setbacks we have seen, I ask you to consider the lives this project will transform. Echo Village is not just a temporary shelter. It's a lifeline, and it's a chance for people to reclaim their futures. It's only one step, and we certainly have more to do. I urge everyone to listen to the voices of those in need and to the people that are also working tirelessly to find innovative solutions like Echo Village. There's lots of really wonderful, beautiful ideas that are happening in our nonprofit sector, and we deserve to be heard, and we owe it to that community to support them. So I want to take a moment and thank the federal delegation because they're doing really important work right now on behalf of our sector. So thank you again. When our neighbors are suffering, the cost of doing nothing is far too great. What price can we place on a warm bed or a door we can lock, or the stability that allows someone to finally breathe, heal, and hope again? Echo Village is built on the wisdom of those who have faced the hardest paths. So let's please keep their voices at the forefront and remember that this village is more than a roof. It's a gateway to dignity, passion, compassion, and lasting change. I now have the honor of introducing Governor Dan McKee to start us off.
Sounds like your voice is, you've been overusing that voice. But it's been a good voice. And it's been a strong voice. So thank you so much, Laura and Hope. And I also want to, just again give a shout out to Speaker Sakachi. He's been in the front lines on housing, and as I mentioned this morning with at the 211 celebration at the State House, that he's a tough guy to keep up with, Speaker, but I'm doing my best. And I think that some of the things that we're getting done here really reflect a great partnership with yourself, along with President Ruggiero and the senators as well. So thank you for here. And then Mayor Smiley, clearly, I just want to give him a real shout out here. Being a community that was willing to step up and to really show leadership here. Mayor, thank you very much for that. And we need all our municipal leaders to do the same in all the communities. And I'm out visiting, whether it's a shelter in Pawtucket, which I think is a really good model that I want to duplicate, throughout the state, or up in Woonsocket with Mayor Beauchamp, or I visited the West Warwick facilities as well, to get your feet on the ground and talk to people that are experienced in this housing crisis in their lives. So we're going to continue to do that, and also directly with the Crossroads as well. Visited there and saw the facilities that they're building, and made a commitment that as they move into their new facility, that we will put our state resources into the the retrofitting of that of the Y there that they've been using for years. So I think that that's really about what we're talking about here. But we finalized, and this has taken longer than expected. But again, this site, it's just like when you build a new development, no utilities, needing groundwork that needed to be done. So it was like having a development right from scratch. And I said, longer than we expected, but now we can look forward to the what's going to happen here, Laura, and with your leadership and with your team for years to come. And it's also a great example of other ways that we can introduce to other communities exactly what Mayor Smiley made happen here today. So we know it's a complicated issue. Since I've been governor, the number of beds available to people experiencing homelessness has grown by 60%. Still got a ways to go, but I'm determined to actually check that box off in the near future. That we went from 800 beds to over 1,300 beds. We also have on the drawing board. I'll be at Charles Gate tomorrow, and we're looking at expanding the number of units there by up to 40 additional units there as well, over and above what's currently there. So we know that the urgency's there. Echo Village is geared toward helping those who have not always been successful with other shelter options. And we need to be flexible in making sure that we're putting it front and center in our efforts as we look at all housing, where we need to make sure that these are good transitional strategies, but we also kind of go work for that permanent area and helping people with employment that are looking for employment, that are struggling with housing right now. So it's a place where people, while they look for permanent housing, and Laura and I have talked about that. You know, the way that she's got the idea of doing something that's different than anything else in the state, and it's worth this as being a great opportunity to show a pilot that actually can work as we try to achieve, the goals that we have throughout the state with our Rhode Island 2030 plan, right? Which is about raising education outcomes, it's about raising incomes, raising strategies for people to be able to get a piece of the pie, a piece of American dream, and I think that's what we're working for, and then making sure we're healthy enough to enjoy this. So today we are officially adding this to the portfolio of options for Rhode Island's homeless community, options that include beds for families to be safer together safely, beds for those with substance use issues. Is Kathy out there? Thank you for your leadership. Appreciate it very much. As our first executive director of the addiction, effort in lowering the addiction rates in the state of Rhode Island. Beds for those escaping domestic violence, beds for those who are newly homeless, and beds for those who are chronically homeless. I'll add to that the beds for individuals that are transition out of incarceration as well. These are all areas we need to invest in, and we're committed to do that. So there are too many people in Rhode Island and in the nation who can't count on having a warm bed to sleep in on a nightly basis. I really give a big shout out to our courts here in Rhode Island for leading the charge to really be pushing back against what's happening in DC and trying to take away funding of the white family. Rhode Island sends more money to Washington than we get back, and yet here we are, in a position where we have to play put all our efforts into getting exactly what the state deserves, and I'm glad that our courts are really standing up in a national way to push back against what's happening with the policies and some of the executive orders that President Trump has signed. So that's why our Department of Housing is actually working to be a partner, and that's exactly what I believe we have here, a partnership. So thank you, congratulations, Laura. Looking forward to working with you and making this pilot a very successful one that actually can be duplicated in other areas of the state. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Governor. Providence to the rescue.
We don't have a.
Is it on?
Is that on?
Is this on? Yep. Okay. All right. Here we go. Thank you again, Governor, for your remarks. Now I'd like to welcome up Joseph Sicarci, Speaker of the House.
Thank you, Laura. I don't know if this is working or not, but I speak loud anyway. Practice with the House. I have some prepared remarks. Before I do that, I just want to tell you that I'm cold. And I'm here for 15 minutes and I'm cold. Can you imagine someone? Can you imagine someone living outside in the cold? Think about that for a minute. So it's a great opportunity to celebrate this, but let's not forget people who are living outside. I want to acknowledge Governor McKee, Senator Basilian, Mayor Smiley, Council President Rachel Miller, Secretary Goddard, and Amy King, the CEO of Pallet. Thank you to everyone who made this project possible. We have a severe housing shortage and homeless crisis in Rhode Island. Rhode Island's unhoused population has increased dramatically in the last several years, and we are in dire need of more housing as people experience homelessness. Laura said earlier, remember those who are unhoused and in need. I don't have to remember them because I have a house full of representatives like Teresa Tanzi who remind me about that, and Jen Stewart who remind me about that every day that we're in session. And when we're not in session, trust me, I get a text at 10 o'clock at night or a phone call at 7 a.m. Speaker, what are we going to do? What can we do to help you? So you have allies and you have support. Thank you, Laura, for everything you do. In the General Assembly, we've been working on it. We've allocated more than $120 million in the last few state budgets, specifically to address homelessness. All positive outcomes begin with a safe and stable home. We can do all the programming we want, but if a person doesn't have a safe place to sleep at night, what does it all mean? Just recently, Rico, one of our unhoused neighbors, froze to death, not too far from here. And there are probably others we don't know about. We, everybody here, me included, everybody here, need to do more, and we need to do it better. Echo Village will enable individuals who are experiencing chronic homelessness to have a much-needed shelter, stability, and safety. I'm pleased to be here today to mark this opening. Thank you.
Sorry about that. It's okay.
Thank you, Speaker, to you and your colleagues for your steadfast leadership at the General Assembly. Now I'd like to welcome up Senator Jake Basilian.
I am happy we ironed this all out before I stood up here. Thank you very much. It's an honor and a privilege to be here today on behalf of the Rhode Island State Senate and offer some remarks as a resident of Providence, as the Senator for Senate District 1, and as Chair of the Senate Committee on Housing and Municipal Government. It's a responsibility and an honor. I'm here because, like many of you, I believe that housing is not just about shelter, but about stability, dignity, and opportunity. For me, Echo Village is more than a collection of units, but it's a new community in Smith Hill, which is a community that historically, for decades, more than a century, has welcomed individuals from all across this world with open arms. And so I couldn't be more proud that right here in Senate District 1, we were a leader. You heard from Laura that this has been a 5-year process, and many communities throughout this state did not say yes in my backyard. And I do feel honored that we were able to do that. I want to recognize Governor McKee and Speaker Shikarji, who along with our Senate President Dominic Ruggiero have worked together collectively on more than 36 bills to deal with Rhode Island's housing crisis over the last couple of sessions, have allocated more than a third or thereabouts of the federal funds that we got during the COVID pandemic to deal with Rhode Island's housing crisis. And unfortunately, we were a little late to the party. That's no fault of theirs, and we are those starting to see the fruits of that labor. I want to welcome Acting Secretary Goddard, who I think has her work cut out for her, possibly leading the Executive Office of Housing. But I know that that sort of laser focus is needed to address this issue. And I certainly want to welcome Amy from Pallet and John from, who's nervous to speak, but I know he's going to do a great job. But in this life, you can either witness change or you can choose to create it. And we're here today, and I truly believe this because of one person who's right over my shoulder, and that's Laura Jaworski from House of Hope. So I just asked I first had the opportunity to work with Laura on Shower to Empower when I was working for the City Council, and it's been a wonder to watch her get to this point now over the better part of 5 years, and I couldn't be more than happy to work with her in this endeavor. I know it's cold out, and I appreciate the Speaker for mentioning Rico, who many would recognize from Smith Hill. passed away tragically about 2 weeks ago. The stark reality is that too many Rhode Islanders do not have a place to sleep tonight. ECHO is not just about housing, it is about health, safety, and giving individuals the ability to regain control over their lives. I see it every day in my work at Justice Assistance, where individuals interact with the criminal justice system, be it front end or reentry, and often the biggest barrier to their stability is housing. Without a place to live, nothing else is possible. Not a job, not recovery, not a fresh start. We must break this cycle because a place to stay is more than four walls. It is the first step towards reclaiming one's future, making choices, and turning hardship into hope. That is the power of ECHO. This community will give our neighbors the chance to stabilize, to reset, to take control back over their lives. ECHO is not just about providing beds, it is about providing the foundation for people to stand on their own again. And while it is a step forward, we are nowhere near the finish line. Around 2,000 individuals in the coming year will experience homelessness in the state of Rhode Island. We know that we need 20,000 units more of affordable housing, and that more than 150,000 households in the state of Rhode Island are cost burdened as a result of housing. We need more solutions like ECHO, not fewer, because the demand is growing. We need policies that prevent homelessness before it starts, so no one is pushed into a dreadful cycle of despair. And we need to keep fighting for solutions that give people back their dignity and their future. To everyone who has fought to make ECHO a reality, thank you. The staff I met on the way in, the volunteers I met on the way in, and I know that no executive director does it alone. So I want to thank Jordan Day, the chair of the board of directors, as well as the other directors of House of Hope. So thank you very much. And I would just like to say that this is just the first step in a long journey. And I look forward to walking with many on this journey. Because when we fight for dignity and when we fight for fairness, we fight for each other. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Senator Basilian. Now I'd like to welcome Brett Smiley, Mayor, City of Providence.
Thank you, Laura, and good morning, everybody. It is great to finally be here for a long overdue announcement, and more importantly, folks will be moving in tomorrow. In a minute, we're going to hear from the Council President, Rachel Miller, but I want to thank our friends and my partners on the Providence City Council who have been integral to both funding solutions like this, but also saying, as Senator Basilian just said, yes, in our backyard. Councilman Espinal and Councilman Vargas have joined us today, along with the Council President. And Laura, to you and your team, thank you so much for sticking with this. This has been a long road. Governor, thank you, and Speaker, thank you. Housing Secretary, thank you for your support as well. This is an important step forward, as you keep hearing. We are so pleased that there will be 45 new individuals or couples calling this place home and being our neighbors here in Smith Hill. The residents of Smith Hill and the residents of Providence continue to step forward to be a part of the solution. We are proud that Providence was able to allocate nearly $500,000 of our ARPA money, separate from the state's funds, to help ensure that this operation had the funds it needed to open and to run. And Providence will continue to do, frankly, more than its fair share with respect to the crisis that we're facing, and we're proud of that fact. We're not asking for extra credit, but we continue to step up, and the City of Providence will do so. We've invested over $55 million in our Affordable Housing Trust Fund that has helped create or preserve 1,600 affordable housing units in the city, because we know that the actual solution is housing, and that must remain on our menu. We've helped support and expand shelter capacity by 182 beds here in Providence, and will continue to do so. It is, I think many people have said it, but I want to say loud and clear, it is our hope that this is the first and not the last ECHO Village in Rhode Island. It is our hope that this is not the first or the last Echo Village in Providence, and we are happy to continue to look for the right sites here in the city, but as the governor referenced, other cities need to do the same. And so I want to give special thanks to Speaker Shikarchi for his recent legislation that it will make it easier for cities and towns to provide this solution in the future and bypass some of the delays that we had to face here. This is the first time doing it for everyone, and Laura's right that we should take this moment and not dwell on the past but look towards the future. The future is doing this better and faster and more affordably in the future, and just keep going, because this is an important piece of the spectrum of care and options that we provide. We need more of them. We all need to do more. Providence will continue to do more, and I hope that other cities and towns will as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd now like to welcome City Council President Rachel Miller.
Thank you. And Laura, please accept on behalf of the City Council our heartfelt congratulations, our heartfelt thanks to you, to everyone on staff at House of Hope. This is, and it's tremendous to see everyone here in the cold today. This is a really powerful housewarming for a new community that is opening up tomorrow. Thank you so much to my council colleagues who are here with us, Councilman Vargas, Majority Leader Espinal, Councilwoman Graves. I want to also give a shout out to Councilman Royas, whose neighborhood this is. He is at work right now. He has been a tireless advocate for this project, and I'm very happy that we're here, and we're here with him, even though he can't be here with us. This is a huge moment. We've heard how necessary it is. We know how necessary it is. We live that every day. It is the beginning of a new opportunity for 45 people or couples. It's the beginning of a new opportunity for Rhode Island to address a crisis head on. We're talking not just building a community, we're talking about a community that is staffed by some of the most compassionate, competent outreach workers in the state. We'll have resources for recovery here, community building, paths to permanent housing. These 45 units will be a lifeline for Rhode Islanders who have all too often been looked past, turned away, and left behind. This could not be possible without a partnership between the state and the city. And so thank you, Governor, thank you, Speaker, thank you, Senator, and our Housing Secretary. This is critical work. Thank you, of course, Mayor Smiley. It's critical work that we have to do hand in hand. Echo Village today, it's a model for exactly what we need while we fight for longer term solutions to handle the crisis that we're in, but also to prevent people from entering into homelessness. Every winter, hundreds of Rhode Islanders are stuck between a rock and a hard place, navigating wait lists and brutal cold. There aren't enough beds, there aren't enough spaces. This is a shining example, a proof of what is possible when we kind of think beyond and put the dignity of our neighbors first. Every human person deserves a warm and safe place to stay, especially in winter, but every night, 365 days of the year. This is why Providence City Council opened up council chambers as a last resort, a refuge for unhoused residents. It's why we worked so successfully with Mayor Smiley to open up Da Vinci Center, again, not alongside other great providers operating the city of Providence. We all have to do more. It's why we continue to push for bold and lasting action and meaningful policy change. Last week, the council passed a resolution in support of Speaker Shikarchi's legislation to support the urgent and swift construction of more emergency units or SAVE units. Thank you, Speaker, for taking that action. Thank you for paving the way for more projects like Echo. You have been an extraordinary and unprecedented leader on this issue, and Providence is grateful for that leadership. We all know, we're all here because we know what needs to happen, right? What we can do better as a city, as a state, as a community of people who care about one another. We need to move forward and cut through red tape that causes delays in innovative projects like this. We need to keep pushing for policies that prevent homelessness before it starts. Policies like rent stabilization, tenant protections, just cause eviction, social housing, real investment in deeply affordable permanent housing, and more housing units at every income. And so as we cut this ribbon, as we celebrate this housewarming, and we get one step closer, we celebrate that people of Providence have a new place to turn when times get tough. And tomorrow we keep fighting together for the next policy win and the next life-changing project until every Providence resident and every Rhode Island resident has a place to call home. Thank you.
Thank you so much. You guys are doing great. We're almost done, I promise. Now I'd like to welcome Acting Secretary Deborah Goddard.
I am very mindful that I am the seventh speaker, and I have usually on that side, so I'm going to move through some of my prepared remarks towards the end. Again, I want to thank everyone that's been here that has contributed in one way or the other, and I want to especially thank Laura and your staff, your perseverance and your care and commitment to addressing the issue of homelessness, and especially those that are the hardest to serve. I also want to emphasize the point of partnership. The department, the state, the city can't do this alone. Our legislature can't do this alone, although they are clearly critical. I really want to thank the mayor, the city council, and Jake for the work they did on the ground and in the city to get this site accepted and up and running. We need that across the state. We need that in every community if we are going to address our homeless and housing problem. So thank you all for the partnership you shared. I haven't been here for most of this, as you know. I do know the ups and downs. I want to thank those that persevered, and especially from our department, Lauren Barnes, who was there for all the ups and helped with all, there for all the downs and helped with some of the ups, I should say. Again, the power of working together cannot be overstated. The necessity of working together cannot be overstated. I consider myself lucky to see all of these potential partners here, to have met so many people so quickly that want us to succeed in addressing the homeless and housing issues. So long as there's one person homeless, one person sleeping outside, our job is not done. And my commitment, along with the governor, is that we will persevere, we will reach out, we will collaborate, we will listen, and we will move forward until there is no person sleeping on the street or suffering through homelessness. Again, thank you to everyone for the partnership, and onward.
Thank you so much. Please join me in welcoming Amy King, not only to the podium, but to Rhode Island, the CEO of Pallet.
Good morning, thank you. Before I share my remarks, I want to share something about Pallet with you that you might not know and most people don't know. I am the founder of Pallet, and the reason why I started Pallet was to create jobs for people in my community who others would not employ. More than 80% of Pallet's staff are people who are exiting homelessness and the justice system in Washington State, where I live. Our goal is to teach and train as many people as possible into the construction trades. We need more workers to build more permanent housing so we can ultimately end this crisis. And for every one person that is entering the construction trades, 7 are exiting. And more than 1/3 of Americans have criminal histories. That is more people than have college-educated degrees. So if we don't start getting people back to work and back to purpose, we're going to keep fighting this cycle. So I hope, and I'm excited for the people who come to live here, when they go to bed at night, they can know that the walls around them were built by someone who walked the journey that they are on and has successfully exited that. And I hope that gives them hope. So it's a huge pleasure to be here with you all. This is my first time ever in Rhode Island, so thank you for inviting me. And I'm just so grateful to participate in this. It has been a long time coming, one of the longest sites we've had to date, but I'm so grateful for the perseverance. And look, it's hard, right? These things are really hard, and I want to acknowledge that. We work with a lot of cities. This is not easy. Embracing innovation, doing new things, it's hard to do new things. You guys stuck with it, you got there, and I'm super grateful to be part of this journey with you. Pallet began from the belief that housing is a human right and that all lives have value and purpose. Over the course of the last near decade, we've had the privilege of partnering with over 119 cities in 31 states and 3 provinces across North America. Through those incredible partnerships, we have been honored to see tens of thousands of lives sheltered and restored. Predatory behavior ceased in communities, dropping crime rates by more than 30% in cities that house shelter villages, and essential stabilizing services delivered to those that need them most. What an honor to be here to celebrate the opening of this site today. Laura, your championing of this site and its purpose has been an epic feat. We were there with you, walking alongside you, and I wish I could have physically been here with you more. We're proud to stand with you in delivering life-saving shelter to your community. Governor and Speaker, thank you so much for your willingness to pursue the necessary changes to embrace construction innovation and make shelter production faster and more cost-efficient to deliver more opportunity with speed and at scale. We look forward to the many beautiful stories of restoration that will come from this place and are honored to share in today's joy with you. Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks, Amy. And last but certainly not least, please join me. Warm up your hands. John Cellini.
Hello, good afternoon, everybody. My name is John Cellini, and it's a profound honor to stand here today and celebrate this opening of these tiny homes. This is a truly momentous occasion, and it holds particular significance for me because I was previously I have personally experienced the transformation power of stable housing. At a young age, I faced significant challenges. I witnessed things no child should ever have to. This, along with other factors, led me down a difficult path, resulting in 13 and a half years of incarceration. I struggled with addiction and its many consequences. Sorry, I'm not as good as everybody else. For a long time, I felt lost and hopeless, but my life changed when House of Hope offered me a lifeline. Thank you, Laura. Woo! A permanent supportive housing voucher. It wasn't just about having a roof over my head. It was about having a foundation to rebuild my life. It was about Without stable housing, I could not address other critical needs. I started journaling, working on myself, my emotional intelligence, and focusing on my recovery. It allowed me to break this cycle I was trapped in, a vicious cycle. Since then, my life has changed dramatically. I began as a peer mentor with the House of Hope and found my passion. From there, I'm in the process, of becoming a certified peer mentor. I sent them the paperwork. I'm just waiting to get the certification. And I'm very proud of that. Community health worker as a front line, and I'm very proud of that. Coming from where I come from, it's unbelievable. And it was all because of House of Hope. Since then, my life has changed dramatically. I am a peer mentor, and I became a certified community health worker. For the first time ever, I applied myself, and I succeeded. Now that I'm on the other side of my PTSD, I have found employment, reconnected with family, and I am in a position to give back. I am passionate about helping others who have faced similar struggles. These tiny homes represent the same opportunity for others. They offer a chance for an individual to find stable, heal from their past trauma, and build a brighter future. They represent hope. Thank you, House of Hope. Thank you. I really appreciate it for your unwavering support in me and allowing me to grow as a person. Because without House of Hope, I wouldn't be here today, and I wouldn't help all the people I helped. So thank you.
Absolutely, we saved the best for last, John. Well done. Again, I want to thank all of our speakers today for being present and for your remarks. Before I wrap up, I do want to thank a few more people. That was your cue. Just came up. House of Hope Board of Directors, as Senator Bazillion mentioned, I'm just the face, but I stand on a lot of shoulders. Board of Directors for not firing me and believing in me when I come up with these crazy ideas. So our fearless board president, Jordan Day, many of them are here. And of course, this wouldn't be possible without the hard work, dedication, and compassion of the 50 some odd folks that work at House of Hope each and every day. Where are my House of Hope staffers? Put your hands up. There you are. I am so proud of this team. They show up each and every day with a smile, willing to help everyone, one another, and especially those that we serve. We couldn't be more proud to be in this role and to lead such a compassionate group of individuals. Really, this is for you today. And lastly, our partners and supporters who continue to believe in our mission. Amos House for providing the meals for once we open. Our other fellow homeless service providers, many of whom here today. Thank you for all your hard work. Lauren Barnes from the Department of Housing. This young woman has cut her teeth on this project. They're sharp. Jim Grundy, who couldn't be here today, but he's a general contractor from Atlantic Control Systems. My brother from another mother, Andre Gill Engineering. Mark Kravitz from Adelaide Consultants, and the dozens of subcontractors and vendors that helped us to get here today. This is an incredible group of people that we encountered in this industry, many of whom who actually personally had to stand up and defend me and this project. I have never been more proud and honored to work with a construction team as those names that I've mentioned and many of the other names that you see around that made today possible. I'm honored to have worked with your trade industry. And again, thank you all for being here today. We're going to have some guided tours that will begin shortly, so please stick around. And we're excited to show today off to you all. Thank you.
Before you go anywhere, I'm stealing this mic with full authority of being board president. A lot of people have sang Laura's praises, and they wrap it up to a year or so in construction. But what they don't see is the 4 to 5 year journey that took place the entire time leading these efforts. Before House of Hope even found its first location, I was still working for the city of Providence, working with them on Shower to Empower. When they found their second location, I called Laura up and I said, how can I help? And that location fell through and I joined the board. And ever since then, Laura has been the captain of our ship, and I'm pleased to be her co-captain on occasion. And so I just want to make sure we give her her literal flowers today. So thank you to Laura and the entire team of House of Hope for all that they've done.